So what's the deal now?
Just this woman thinks her son is missing.
Doesn't look like anyone's home.
What the fuck?
Here, look at this.
These tapes only affect you if you play it in a correct sequence.
Get it? It's a VHS.
Oh, fuck!
Don't let go of me!
Ghost tape. Ghost tape. Go shit.
What the fuck is that?
Holy shit. Did you hear that?
VHS 2 is obviously a sequel to VHS 1, a found footage horror anthology and the brainchild of Brad Miska, the founder of BloodyDisgusting.com. It features segments from directors like Adam Wingard, Simon Barrett, John Eisner, and the guys who did the Blair Witch Project. Now, as I mentioned before in my ABCs of Death review, I really liked the first VHS. I agree with a lot of the criticisms towards it. It is overlong, it's very bloated, the wraparound segments have a lot of problems. The overall tone and misogyny gets kind of leering and creepy at times, and not in the good way. Luckily, we have VHS 2 that fixes all those problems. This movie, VHS 2, feels like they listened to the critics when they were making this one. This movie greatly improves upon what they had established with the first movie. It's not as long, it's only 95 minutes, whereas the first movie was 2 hours. It has only 4 segments versus 5 from the original. The script and the acting in this movie is better than it was in the first movie. There's not as many annoying characters, there's not as much setup. A lot of the segments, once they get going, it's very quick and it kind of doesn't stop until the end. This movie is much more intense, it's much gorier, it plays with more ideas than the original. There's one failing, though, is I liked the patchwork quality of the original. I liked that it was kind of like this jumbled mixtape of a movie. And this movie still has those qualities, but it was more... It's kind of like the first album effect, where like you always look at the first album from the band more favorably than the rest because you've just spent more time with it. And I've just spent more time with VHS than I have with VHS 2. I only watched it 6 hours ago. But... yeah, this movie really does improve upon all of the problems with the first movie. The wraparound segment, it's similar to the wraparound segment in the first movie. These are private detectives, I assume they're private detectives, break into this house looking for someone, and they find, it's from the trailer, the setup of all the TVs, and then they start watching tapes, basically. They find a computer first with a Skype video on it. I liked that because that's a reference from the first movie. And a lot of little things like that in this movie feel like it's making fun of the first movie, making fun of the things that were kind of dumb in the first movie, like the Skype conversation somehow finding its way on a VHS tape. I liked that. But the wraparound segment in total, it was the same thing as the first movie of just people in a house watching videotapes. And then just having a very oh, what was that? That was kind of scary reaction to the tapes once they're over. I think the only horror anthology movie that's ever had a satisfying wraparound was the first Creepshow movie. Segment 1 was directed by Adam Wingard. It's about a guy who gets this video implant in his eye and he starts to see ghosts. And it was probably it was good, but it was the weakest. It's another segment that's shown me that I kind of have to reconsider Adam Wingard as a director. I'm waiting until Your Next comes out to really see if this guy is worth it. Because again, as I mentioned in one of my reviews, I didn't like Horrible Way to Die. I have my issues with Adam Wingard as a director. I'm waiting for Your Next, but I really liked this segment. He didn't write this segment, which I thought was interesting. but it was pretty good. He is a good actor. If he just acts and doesn't direct or write movies anymore, I'm fine with that. If he just acts for Ty West and let Ty West write the scripts, that's perfect. The second segment, it was really good. It's this guy biking with a GoPro camera on his helmet, and he stumbles across the zombie apocalypse, essentially. And he gets bitten and turns into a zombie, and it basically is a first-person perspective of a zombie. It's really cool. It's really interesting. They end up attacking this birthday party. It's good. The third segment is the best. The third segment is this fucking bizarro. It's The Sound of My Voice as a found footage movie, if you've seen The Sound of My Voice. Basically, real quick summary, these journalists go into a cult, become part of a cult to try to out it as being bullshit, and then they kind of get wrapped into it. That's basically the plot of The Sound of My Voice. In this segment, it's a documentary crew who are welcomed into this cult's compound for this great event that they're planning, and then it comes time and all hell breaks loose in this compound, and just fucking mass suicides, zombies, demons, blood, guts everywhere. This thing goes crazy. It's jaw-dropping, this segment. It's fantastic. But it's about 30 minutes long. It's kind of the longest segment in the whole movie, and it's kind of a short film in and of itself. It's great, and it ends on a really good punchline. This movie is very funny, too, VHS 2. It gets the humor right, whereas in the first movie, the humor was just douchebag humor, whereas this, it's actually funny. And then the fourth segment is also good. It's the alien invasion segment. It's a bunch of annoying-ass kids sleeping over with each other, and they put a GoPro camera on a dog.
One of the fascinating new additions to your squad is a dog.
But this movie, VHS 2, it's really, really good. I would definitely recommend it. If you're a horror fan, if you're a horror anthology fan, if you're a horror found footage fan, if you're a horror fan, go see this movie. If you're a fan of any of these directors, go see this movie. If you're a fan of bloodydisgusting.com, if you want to see something really interesting, if you want to see like 4 really good horror short films, watch this. I really like this series. I really want to see more of these. I want a bunch of directors to get involved in this. I want everyone to get involved in this thing. It's really good. Maybe some venerable directors can come in and try to do some segments for like the next couple VHS movies, and maybe reinvigorate their careers. Maybe a George Romero, maybe a John Carpenter. Let's think about this, guys. But what I really want to talk about is why I think this series works. And that's basically, I think basically it's because these movies are the only movies that really get found footage, or the way you should use found footage, correct. And that's very short, self-contained stories that they go by too quick for the audience to really start asking all those questions that you ask when you're watching a found footage movie or just a horror movie in general. And it's just, it's like a mixtape. These movies are like a mixtape of horror, like a found footage horror, and that's a really cool idea, and that's a really neat thing that you can do with it, and it has so much potential. And they took a stab with the first movie and they delivered on it, and the first movie was a tough act to follow, and this movie really blows it out of the water. It went up to the plate and it knocked it out of the park, whereas the first movie was like a triple. This movie was a home run. I just hope in the future, what I would like to see in the future is I would like Brad Miska to just make sure that the people who are contributing to this series they don't make a lot of the segments too similar, because that was one of the things I didn't like about the first movie. One of the major complaints I had about the first movie was that things kind of felt too samey between the segments. And again, like the segments in this movie share qualities with the segments in the first movie, and they also sort of share qualities with the segments in the ABCs of Death. But it feels like they're trying to improve upon those things. It feels like they're trying to do better with those elements. But I just hope that they're not always trying to do better with what they have done before. If you guys want to experiment, if you want to do something really weird, if it doesn't work, that's fine. At least you went out there and you did something strange, and you did something cool, and you did something unique. You don't have to always worry about topping yourselves. But I would really highly recommend this movie, as I said. And if you're a fan of the first one, and if you're a fan of horror, and if you're a fan of anthologies, then just give it a shot. Give Star Trek 1 a shot. And VHS, man. It's fucking good.
Oh, fuck.